everyone, my name is Hannah. Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about all of the books that I want to read in October. So there are a ton of readathons happening in October, and there are 4 main ones that I want to do, and there's 3 of them that overlap a few days, which is kind of funny. So I tried to strategically plan the books I picked for that. So mostly this TBR is going to be my 3 main monthly challenges that I do every month, and then the Readathon TBRs. So in honor of October, I wore my pumpkin shirt where it's got all these different kinds of pumpkins on it and it tells you what the names are, and I think it's so cute. But yeah, let's just get into the books that I'm going to read this month. So if you don't know, I always do 3 monthly challenges for myself. I do them every month. Just keeps things, keeps me on track, I guess, and helps me reach my goals that I set at the beginning of the year. So my first challenge is always to do a reread in the month. I love rereading books, so this one is not difficult for me. And this month I'm going to be rereading Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. This was one of my favorite books of last year. I really loved it. I love Carrie Maniscalco's writing, and I love books about witches and fantasy. This was just right up my alley, and the sequel comes out in October, so I want to reread this so I'm like back into the story because it's been a while since I've read it. So this is going to be my monthly reread for October. Then I always like to choose a book of the month book. When I'm filming this, the 5 monthly picks aren't out yet, so I don't know what the 5 picks are going to be, but I do know that I'm going to add on in this box. So I'm going to say the add-on and add that to my TBR. It is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is a thriller, and that is all I really know about it. I know Ashley from Ashley's Little Library read it and really liked it, so I added it. But yeah, I like going into thrillers knowing next to nothing, so I don't have a great synopsis for that. I'm not good at giving synopses anyways, so if you're curious what the synopsis is for any of these books, I might give some, but if you're curious to know a little bit more, a better synopsis, you can go look it up online. So yes, Rock, Paper, Scissors is my book of the month pick because I will be adding that on for sure this month. But yeah, at this time, I don't know what the 5 picks are, so I might pick up my monthly pick as well. And then my next challenge is a card challenge. So I shuffle up a deck of playing cards, and then in my reading journal here, I have a prompt for every single card in the deck. So depending on what I draw will give me a prompt, which helps me decide on a book. All right, spread them out here. Time I think I'm gonna draw one right from the middle. This one is, no, you know what, I'm gonna switch to this one. 8 of Hearts. All right, so 8 of Hearts is Instagram Decides. So I'm gonna choose 2 books and put up a poll on my Instagram and see which one wins, and then I'll pop in a picture of which one won. So the 2 books that I'm gonna choose are Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune and All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. So these are like 2 books that I really want to get to soon. And depending on which one wins, I'll probably still end up reading the other one. But I kind of hope that Under the Whispering Door wins because I know that I'm going to read this in October, so it would be nice that it would fit into my challenge here. So yeah, one of these 2, I'm going to put up a poll on Instagram that helps me decide, and then I'll pop up on the screen here which one won, and that will be my TBR card challenge book for October. All right, so now moving into the readathons that I want to do this month and the TBR that I have selected for those, because those are the books that I definitely want to get to in that time that the readathon is. So the first readathon happening that I want to do is called Stabathon, and it is from October 4th to October 10th, and it's hosted by a few of my friends, Cami from Burrows and Books, Naomi from Naomi's Library, and Sav from Riveting Reads. And they have this little bingo board, but they have a little bingo board that gives you like certain prompts or reading challenges, and I kind of selected my books based on those. The first book on my TBR for Stabathon is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, I think is how you say it. This apparently has been like blowing up on TikTok, and I think it's like a dark academia fantasy book. And that just sounds super, super interesting, and I think that's the perfect like vibe for this time of year. And I'm just really curious to like see what it's about. I really love this cover, but it's going to go for the challenge of reading a book with Halloween colors, black or orange, because it's got a black cover. And then it's also going to work for the challenge of reading a book with supernatural vibes, because I think that some of the characters in here have like special abilities. So I'll be picking this one up. The next book I'll pick up for Stabathon is You Must Not Miss by Katrina Leno. This is like a YA, I don't know if it's a YA horror or like a YA like mystery thriller. I know Horrid is like classified as YA horror, I think. Like YA paranormal maybe. I don't know what this is classified as, but I know that it's going to be like kind of eerie and spooky a little bit. I don't know very much about it, but I've read several of Katrina Leno's other books and liked them, so I was just curious to pick this one up, especially because I've heard that it's kind of weird, and I'm kind of in the mood for weird. So yeah, I'm going to use this for the challenge of reading a book about children, because it's YA, so they're technically children. That's kind of stretching it a bit because it's not like small children, but whatever, I'm using it. And then I'm also using it for the challenge of reading a book set in summer. So I obviously haven't read this, and it doesn't really say on the back cover like what the setting is, but again, Ashley, she's like one of my best friends on BookTube. I'll link her channel up above and down below. But she has read this already, so I messaged her and was like, is this set in summer? Because I really want to use it for this readathon. And she said yes. Literally on the first page, she sent me a picture. The first page says, the smell of chlorine had always reminded Magpie Lewis of summer, and summer in turn reminded her of a much happier time, a time before her life had gone so completely wrong. So it starts like in summer, or there's like, at least it mentions summer enough, like right on the first page, that I'm going to use it for that challenge. And then the next book that I'm going to pick up for Stabathon is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Iyamedi. I was gifted this from Naomi, from Naomi's Library, who is one of the hosts for this readathon. And I wasn't able to get to this in September, even though I really, really wanted to. And I knew that I was going to want to be reading like thrillery books, and I knew that Stabathon was coming up. So I am kind of okay that I didn't get to it in September, because this fits perfectly for this readathon, especially since Naomi's the one who gifted it to me and she's one of the hosts. So I'm really excited to get to this one, and hopefully I can talk to her about it once I read it. But this will go for the challenge of reading a book by a BIPOC author, because Farida Abike Iyamedi is a BIPOC author. And I don't think that this counts as a slasher, which I don't have a book for the challenge of reading a slasher. I know that this is like a thriller set in a school. It's like been compared to Get Out and Gossip Girl. So I don't think this counts as a slasher, but I'm still definitely going to pick it up. And then some of the other like squares to get the bingos are just like, watch your favorite scary movie, post something on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. So I'll be doing all of those so I can get as many bingos as I can. So that is Stabathon. Again, that's from October 4th to the 10th. And then the next readathon on my radar that I want to do in October is the Sweater Weather Readathon, which is hosted by Liv from Liv's Library, Abigail from Abigail's Cup of Tea, and Zoe from Zoe Delaney. And it's a very like cozy fall readathon. It's less spooky and more just like autumnal, which I'm really excited about, because for me, I can only read so many thrillers before I get like burned out from it. So it's nice to have this one kind of in the middle-ish of the month. But this one also has some reading prompts, and it also has photo prompts for Instagram. So I'll definitely be doing those. But the reading challenges are to read a book with orange on the cover, read a book that takes place during fall, read a book in a format you don't typically read a book with a fall word in the title, and read a backlist book published before 2021. So I have 3 books for this readathon. Oh, if I didn't say, it's from October 21st to the 27th. And this is where the readathons start to overlap a little bit. But the first book I'll be picking up for that readathon is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. This has orange on the cover. It's set during fall, like November every year. I think every chapter like is on November 9th because these people meet on November 9th every year. So it's set in fall, and I could stretch it so that it's a fall word in the title, November, if I wanted to make it complete more challenges. It's also a backlist book. So it kind of hits all the challenges. So if I only get to this book, I'll complete most of the challenges. And I'm really excited to get to this one. I've read a few of Colleen Hoover's other books, and I've just been really looking forward to getting to this one. And I think this cozy readathon is the perfect time to pick it up. The next book I'm going to pick up for this readathon is Top Secret by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. I have had this ebook and audiobook for the longest time, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. And since there's a reading challenge to pick up a book in a format I don't typically read, ebooks I don't typically read, I don't really like ebooks. I'm getting more used to them now, but I just really enjoy having the physical book in my hands when I'm reading. But I figured I might as well, finally get to it. I'm really excited to get to it. It's a male-male romance set in a fraternity in college, so it just sounds adorable. It's also like a hate-to-love thing. So I'm going to take advantage of wanting to fulfill all of the reading prompts and read this book for this readathon. And then the last book that I'm going to pick up for this readathon is Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerri Maniscalco. This is the sequel to Kingdom of the Wicked, and I'm using cursed as the fall word in the title because, like, cursed, spooky times, I don't know. I made it work, okay? And like I said, this is one of my most anticipated releases of the year, which is why I want to reread Kingdom of the Wicked beforehand. So hopefully I will be picking this up during this readathon as well. Moving on to the next readathon, this is Vampathon, which is hosted by Jody from Jody Vanilla Moon, Kat from Bambina Katerina, Mika from Mika August, Kay from Madame Spooky, and Mayana from Mayana Reads. And this is like a vampire-themed readathon, obviously, Vampathon, okay, very clever. And this overlaps with the Sweater Weather readathon because this one goes from the 25th of October to the 31st. So the Sweater Weather one goes to the 27th, so there's a 3 day overlap, the 25th, 26th, and 27th. So one of the books that I have on my Vampathon TBR is also Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerri Maniscalco, because this readathon also has a bingo board and it fulfills some of the prompts, like a witchy book, blood used as magic, a book to sink your teeth into I could do, a paranormal supernatural romance I could do, gothic or spooky cover, this one has a skull on it, so I could do it for that, gothic setting I think it could probably go for. Yeah, so it does hit some of the prompts, especially the witchy vibes and spooky cover one it goes for. So I'm gonna kind of save Kingdom of the Cursed to read at the end of the Sweater Weather readathon when it overlaps with the Vampathon readathon so that I can use it for both readathons. Thought that was pretty genius. All right, more vampire books that I'm going to pick up for this. The next book is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. I read and loved the Nevernight Chronicles by Jay Kristoff, so I was definitely anticipating this book this year. It is quite a chunky book. I'm not exactly sure when it came out. I know it was recent, but when I was in Barnes & Noble with my friend Casey, they had a display of these. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, so it has a red background instead of just a black background with the red. And it also has like artwork on the inside covers. And it is signed by Jay Kristoff. And it was $5 off. So when I was in Barnes & Noble, it kind of felt like I would be stupid not to buy it at the time. But yeah, I know that this is maybe a little silly trying to read a 700 plus page book in a readathon. Oh, there's like illustrations throughout it too. That's pretty cool. Like throughout the whole book, there's, I didn't even know that. That's awesome. Anyways, I think maybe it could be kind of stupid to try to read this chunker of a book when I'm trying to read multiple books in the week, but it just fits so well. It's about a vampire, and it's not like, the Edward Cullen sparkly adorable kind. It's like the vicious blood-sucking murder you kind. And this fits like so many prompts for this. It fits a book you can sink your teeth into, blood on the cover because this is just all blood. A spooky cover it could fit because it is kind of spooky. I could read this in the dark. supernatural main character. Pretty sure the main character is a vampire. Book with a gothic setting. I don't know what the setting is for this, and I don't know what technically classifies as gothic, but so I am eager to get to this one, and I will have the audiobook for it, so I'm excited to get to this one. The next book I'm going to pick up for Vampathon, I'm really excited for. I've been wanting to read this book for a while, and it's Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I have never read the Vampire Academy books. I never saw the movie. I missed the train on this one when it originally came out. I just didn't get to it. I was reading so many other things, and I just never got to it, despite it. You know, I was in a very vampire mood because of Twilight, and I read a bunch of different vampire books, but I never got to this one. And it's kind of making a resurgence now. Like, people are either picking it up to reread it or picking it up for the first time. And I've heard so many people say that this book holds up pretty dang well to the times. So I'm really excited to read this. I feel like it's going to be nostalgic, even though I never read it. Like, I feel like because it was written, you know, back in the day, I feel like it'll have those nostalgic vibes. And I'm just like so looking forward to this one. And of course, it's vampires, so it fits a lot of the prompts. It fits set in a school, paranormal, supernatural, romance, vampire book to movie. Definitely a book I can sink my teeth into, a book that brightens you, because I'm just so excited to read this one. It fits so many prompts, so I'm really eager to get to this one. And then lastly for Vampathon, I am hoping to pick up the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I kind of went back and forth on if I even wanted to read this book at all, but I feel like it keeps drawing me back in. I have heard mixed things about this one, and I'm curious to see what I think of it for myself. I've read Grady Hendrix, My Best Friend's Exorcism, and that one was like a fun time. It wasn't great, but it was fun, so I'm hoping that this one's at least fun. And I do really like the cover, not that that has anything to do with the actual book, but I'm such a sucker for a good cover. But this could count as a thriller murder mystery, because I think that this book club is like suspects this guy of being a vampire who's murdering these people, so they're trying to like solve this mystery. I'm gonna count it for that. It also has blood on the cover. This is classified as horror, so it fits the horror book one. I could read this one in the dark as well. It just fits a lot of different prompts, so I'm definitely going to try to get to this one if I finish Empire of the Vampire, Vampire Academy, and Kingdom of the Cursed. Then I'll get to this one. I also have the audiobook for this one because it was on sale through Audible for like $7 or something like that, so I picked that up, and then that's kind of what helped me make the decision of if I wanted to read it, because I had the audiobook. So that is Vampathon. Again, that's from the 25th to the 31st, so it'll take us all the way to the end of October. And then last but certainly not least is Camp Weekendween, which is hosted by Gabby from Gabby Reads and Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte. They do these Halloween-themed readathons frequently throughout the year. They just did Summerween, which started it all. And then they did a Winterween, and those were super, super fun. But now they're doing a weekend-themed one, themed around like a camp, like a summer camp setting, which I think is going to be really fun. And this one goes from October 29th to the 31st. So that last weekend in October. So again, it overlaps with Vampathon. It runs those 3 days that it runs, it overlaps completely with Vampathon. So I'm going to overlap a bit on my books as well. I'm going to be using the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires for one of the challenges for Camp Weekendween, which is to read a book with green on the cover, because this has green. His name is in green. The leaves of the peaches are green. The little flappy guy here is green. So this will be the last book that I pick up for Vampathon so that I can overlap it with Camp Weekendween. And then since this is a shorter readathon, it's only for the weekend, I'm only going to pick up one other book that fulfills all of the other challenges, and that book is The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is the 4th book in the Truly Devious series. I think this isn't like, I don't know how to explain it. The first 3 books, the original trilogy, is set at this academy, at this school for like gifted students, and this one is like its own thing, but I believe you need to read the trilogy in order to understand what's going on in this book. or at least like know what the characters, like who the characters are. But I did read the original trilogy and I did really, really like it, just not David. I think that's his name even. I don't know. He was so annoying. I hated him. But I've heard Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte read this and said that he's less annoying in this one, so I guess we'll see. But I definitely wanted to pick this one up since I enjoyed the original trilogy so much, and this fits almost all of the prompts so well. It fits the read a book with teens as the main characters because the whole cast, the main cast is all teenagers. It's also like a thriller, mystery, slasher kind of YA book. It's for sure a mystery because Stevie Bell is kind of like Sherlock Holmes. She's really, really good at solving cases, and that's why she got into the academy to begin with. And there's like a thrillery aspect to it where she's trying to solve this mystery and there's like stuff going on. And then the last challenge is to read a book with a camp setting, and this one specifically is set at a summer camp, and she's trying to solve this crime that happened back in the day at this summer camp. And I think it's going to follow kind of what the original trilogy followed. We'll be trying to solve a cold case from the past, also with stuff happening in the present. And if I really, really wanted to stretch it, I could flip it over and say there is green on the cover, even though it's one of the other books. That way I could just read this book for this readathon, but I don't want to just give up on Vampathon with 3 days left. So these are the 2 books that I'm going to pick up for Camp Weekendween. So yeah, these are all of the books that I will be picking up in October for all of the readathons and to fulfill my challenges. Again, I, as of right now, don't know what's going to win the Instagram Decides one, so we'll have to see on that. You'll already know. I don't right now, though, but yeah, I'm really, really excited for all of these readathons. I think they'll be really fun, and I think all of these books are going to be really good and get me into the spooky Halloween vibes. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you're participating in any of these readathons as well, and what books you're picking up for it. I would really love to know. And if you liked this video, you can let me know by liking and subscribing down below. I will also be leaving all of the hosts and all of the readathon dates down in my description box below, so if you're curious, you can check that out. And thank you again so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye!